Today, I'm over in Space Station Gaming with the pro player Jethro, and he's going to be breaking down, teaching us everything we need to know about Hybrid at Town Hall 13. What is up, my friends? My name is Echo, and I'm really excited today because we are bringing back the Pro Tip series here on the channel. Now that I am working with Space Station Gaming, I have pro players at my fingertips, and we're going to be picking their brains to figure out how we can be as successful as they are with these attack strategies they are dominating with. We're here with Jethro today. What's going on, man? How you doing?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
No problem. I'm really stoked to have you on the channel. If you couldn't hear from my intro, we're going to be breaking down Hybrid today, but before we do, is there anything that you want to say? I mean, you're on the Pro Space Station team. How does it feel to be a pro player?
I'm really grateful for the opportunity, and I'm also thankful for you, Echo, for hooking us up with this. And I'm also very thankful for my man, Hold My Beer, and my clan. And we're always thankful for him and everything that he does for us.
You are a good man, and no problem, by the way. I'm thankful for you. Guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel and ring the bell because we're gonna have more pro tip videos from other pro players out of Space Station Gaming in the future, and I don't want you to miss them. But Jethro, let's jump in and take a look at what you did with Hybrid in War. All right, guys, so this is the base that Jethro took down using Hybrid. You see the army composition, you see the base, but the question we have is, why this base? Why this composition? And that is what Jethro is here to talk about. So Jethro, let's start with why this base? Why was this base susceptible to being tripled by Hybrid?
So one thing that I usually look for in a base when using the Hybrid strategy is a nice place to sort of set my funnel with a queen charge and charge into the base. Looking to try and get at least the CC, hopefully one hero and the Eagle comp.
Okay, Eagle, Hero, CC. That sounds pretty standard, right? A lot of people that clash, they know that already. So on this attack, do you ever worry about scatter shots, or is that something that's kind of in the back of your head?
So the scatter shot is actually probably the toughest defense for the Hybrid raid. So usually if you can get a scatter shot with the queen as well on the queen charge or the opener of the attack, it's very important. It'll be super helpful. Okay,
cool. That makes a lot of sense. And looking at the composition itself, we have 5 healers for the queen charge. We have the 14 miners, the 14 hogs, baby dragon, and a few other complementary troops. Is there, I mean, I know that attacks change from attack to attack, or at least the compositions do. Is this pretty standard of an army for you, or do you sometimes switch things up?
Usually the army stays pretty similar, give or take, depending on what you use for the funneling of the queen charge or for the funneling of the miners. For the most part, the army comp is pretty standard.
All right, and you always go in with a siege barrack, or do you ever do the a little bomb on the town hall?
So there's definitely different strategies to do with the Hybrid comp. In this particular one, I'm using a siege barracks to kind of set the funnel, but a lot of times in order to help set up a queen charge or Yeti bomb the town hall, a blimp is very important as well to use. So I usually rotate from the siege barracks or the blimp.
All right, it's always good to have both on hand. Well, I think we got a pretty good idea. Why don't we jump into the attack, and then you can break it down for us as it happens, what you were thinking, what your plan was. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, guys, now Jethro is going to walk us through what he was doing, what he was thinking, and why he did it, because that's really the hardest part of us watching. Now we have someone here to break it down for us. So Jethro, take us through the attack. What are you thinking, and what are you doing?
So right now I'm starting the funnel for my queen charge. I just sent in the super wall breaker for my queen to break into that compartment, using the king to funnel down at 6. It was very important to make sure to draw my healers once the air D goes down, since the healers would be in range of that. But at this moment, my queen's charging in and getting down the scatter comp. And once the scatter goes down, I'm able to pull the CC, where then I have to drop a poison. Now, it's important if you see a hound CC to drop the poison exactly on the queen, because in this way, all the pups become in the poison. Yeah. As you can see here.
Yeah, and once you take down that scatter shot, you could finally take a breath of fresh air as well, because when those things are raining down on you, it's always just nerve-wracking, at least for me.
Right. So with this queen charge, I am getting into the base. I've dealt with the CC. I'm about to deal with the RC. And after the RC goes down, I can kind of start and worry about the other part of the raid. So since my queen, I got the second wall break into the base, I'm able to reach the Eagle and the Town Hall. So once my queen gets onto the eagle, I'm able to start, and I start with the siege barracks at 3 o'clock
Yeah.
to start that kind of funnel for the pathing of the hybrid into the base.
Yeah, you got massive value with that queen charge. And what I always tell people when I'm trying to teach people how to hybrid is you want to narrow down or cut a niche out of the corner of the base. And that's exactly what you did there, but you got some huge value. You got down the scatter shot. Looks like you got the town hall, the eagle artillery, the clan castle. You really got big value. Plus the king took down the enemy king, I believe, as well.
Yep. So during this hybrid, it was important that you use your spells correctly. So I first froze the scatter, so I was able to save a heal spell to use it later on in the raid. And then after the freeze wore out, I tomed using the Grand Warden ability so that my troops could get past and I could save my spells for later on in the raid.
Yeah, and that's really important. Utilizing them at different times rather than healing and toming at the same time wouldn't really make a ton of sense. And, well, I'll let you finish off telling me what's going on, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it.
So usually at the end of the raid, you end kind of at the end of the base where there's usually a single target inferno. So once your RC gets near the single target inferno, it's important to pop the RC ability, because when the miners go underground, the single target targets onto the RC. So it's important to try to get the single target down before your RC gets targeted.
Yeah, you don't want her to go down. She's pretty important. But great tip, one that I've never thought of myself, although maybe I knew in the back of my head, but I really never actually said it. So great tips, really dominant on that base. I mean, the queen was still with her ability towards the end of the attack. You really crushed that one, and I'm really curious to see how you did it on the second attack as well. Let's go take a look at that one. Here we are looking at Jethro's second attack, different base, same strategy, and he wanted to talk a little bit more in depth about spell placements that we saw in the last attack as well as this one, because he feels that that is where some of the most value comes when we're talking about hybrid. So what was it you wanted to share with us, Jethro?
So usually when I see other people hybrid, the spell timing can be off. So one thing that I usually do is I usually freeze first. So that way my hybrid can move through. And then once the freeze is down, I either heal next or I tome next with the no heal. So if you tome during the heal, then the heal wouldn't be as high as value. So if you tome, then you can wait on the heal and place it later in the raid, therefore getting more value. So sometimes if your queen walk goes well, you have an extra rage spell. So usually when you tome, you can place a rage spell during the tome. Since the troops are tomed and won't die, then they get maximum value from the rage spell.
Wow, that's stuff I never thought of either. So we have actually an order. You go freeze, tome, heal, because towards the end they probably have less health, get more value from the heal, and rage if you can through the tome. That's a good one. Maybe I should try hybrid again myself. Cool. Cool. Well, I think we should check this one out in action. Are you ready to take a look?
I'm ready.
All right. All right, so the attack has begun. Another solid base. Jethro, where do we go?
So I start this attack off by funneling my queen down at 6 o'clock. So I drop a few wounds to take out the mortar and the arch tower with a baby dragon to sort of set that funnel for the queen. Then once the funnel is set, I send in the super wall breaker to break into the wall. And then I funnel the left-hand side so the queen goes in. So a Tesla farm did pop up, but it's fine since the wall breaker did go nicely and she's still going to go into the town hall.
Yeah, that worked out okay. And those super wall breakers, you got to love those things, huh?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so you got the rage on the queen. She's going to take down the town hall, which is just extra value right there. Then what?
So once the town hall goes down, the CC and... So I'm going to deal with the CC and the scatter shot at the same time. Along with, I'm going to send another super wall breaker into the expo, just because super wall breakers are like that, and they're so nice.
They are
so
so
I'm
nice.
I'm going to get that second break.
Yep, there it goes, raging it up, popping it open.
Yep.
There's the CC.
There's the CC, and I'm starting to take a lot of DPS right here.
Mm-hmm. I see that you dropped the freeze right there.
Right, so it's really important on a queen charge that you keep in mind the scatter shot, because when your queen health gets super low, usually the auto ability will pop, but if the queen is at such a low health and a scatter shot hits her, she still will die even with the auto ability. So it's important to kind of freeze the scatter so that your queen doesn't die when you pop the ability.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do is lose the value out of her ability. So, and you have a lot coming at you right now. You have a clan castle with the ice golem as well, which is going to stall things for a while. Scatter shot, freeze spell, and there is a queen right across the wall as well. I'm wondering if she's going to get into it, but you ready to hit play?
Yep.
So here comes that CC. Scatter shot's frozen. How are you feeling?
So once the CC comes out and my queen health is back up to a good health, I'm able to drop the siege barracks at 3 and start my funnel for the hybrid. So once the siege barrack goes down, I'm going to drop my freeze so that the hybrid goes in. And since there is a lot of DPS right here and the scatter shot does start onto the hybrid, I'm going to drop my heal. And then once the hybrid starts dealing with the queen, I'm going to drop a rage and a tome. So the tome gets maximum value with that rage spell.
Yeah, and you had an extra heal, so you had 2 heals right there. So 1 late, one earlier.
Right, so I did deal with a lot of DPS right there in the core, so that's why I had to heal right away again. But right now my troops are nicely funneling at the top. Once the hybrid kind of starts the path around the base, you want to kind of drop the cleanup wizards, cleanup minions to kind of make them go and stay into the core. And right as the raid is sort of ending, since my RC is going towards the single inferno, I'm going to pop that ability. Kind of deal with the end of the raid, and by this time the base is dealt with.
It's done. Plenty of troops left over, plenty cleaning up, the same composition we spoke of before, and another solid base. Both of these were League Wars as well. Now I have a few questions for you specifically that were maybe not shown in here, so let's get into those questions right now. All right, Jethro, my first question for you is, what do you do when you don't have super wall breakers? Like, I could tell that you love them, everyone does, probably the most valuable super troop, but what do you do when they're not a thing?
So, wall breakers have always been a struggle of mine, to be completely honest. So usually I bring extra. So you need three regular wall breakers to break open 1 wall. But normally in the upper level of gameplay, most of the base builders know to put a small bomb on the outside of the walls where would be like the most likely spot to wall break. So usually you have to send 1 test wall breaker that will go up and hit the wall to sort of trip any small bombs or springs or giant bombs, just to make sure that when you send the next 3 in towards the wall to break it open, that they're safe from any traps.
All right, so the answer is, when there's no super wall breakers, you go with the old school wall breakers, but you bring a few extra in your back pocket because you know some of them aren't going to make it there.
Correct.
All right, fair enough. All right, so we saw some different looking bases in today's video, but I'm in Legends League, man, and all I ever come across are ring bases, donut bases. How does hybrid do? How does it fare against those style?
So hybrid is honestly one of the strongest comps towards a ring base. So in Legends, a lot of the top Legends pushers use hybrid. So basically, on a hybrid versus a ring base, what you want to do is you want to break in your queen to one of the corners or one of the sides and kind of make a channel for her to go and walk into the hybrid. So once she walks into the hybrid, you can send a blimp into the hybrid as well. And what you want to do with the blimp is, if you tome the blimp during the raid, during the hybrid, you use the Grand Warden ability. The blimp goes all the way to the town hall in the center of the base where the ring is. So, and then you'll need a rage to kind of get the town hall down. But the tomed Yeti blimp kind of gets rid of the whole ring-based struggle of 1-starring.
Well, I definitely have a struggle with that. You know what I think we need to do, Jethro, is we need to get you with a couple of Legends triples and have you come back on the channel with a pro tip on specifically how to 3-star with hybrid those ring bases. I'm telling you, people need help with that because I know that I struggle. I know that people need the help. Can we do that?
Sounds like a plan.
All right, cool. Jethro, thank you so much for coming down today and sharing your pro tips for hybrid at Town Hall 13. Another question actually I just thought of. Can we use hybrid at other Town Hall levels as well?
Absolutely. I've seen it work a lot at Town Hall 12 and at Town Hall 11.
Yeah, I agree. I think you can. Hopefully you guys will try it as well, even if you're not a Town Hall 13. Again, Jethro, thank you so much. Any last things you want to say to everyone that was watching before we go?
Thanks for having me, Echo, and I hope to do some more things with you in the future.
Well, we always have the plan. The next plan is already here. It's the donut base on the hybrid, man. We got to do that video. So stay tuned, guys, for that one. Jethro, I know you're going to be in the comments section. You're going to be answering everyone's questions about how to be a pro with hybrid, but where else can people find you?
So you can find me at Twitter at Jethro_Clash.
Jethro_Clash. I will try my best to remember to link that in the description of this video. And if I forget, because sometimes I do, I'll make it a pinned comment when someone calls me out on it. But dude, thanks so much for coming through, and everyone that was watching, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and let us know down in the comments below that you want to see more. Again, coming out of Space Station Gaming, big things to come. Jethro, you have a great day, man.
You too. Thanks for having me, man.
No problem, bud. And everyone else, be safe and be good.